G'day Knuckleheads, Uncle Knackers here, and welcome to part 2, the final part on how to build a table. And let's get stuck straight into it. As you can see, I've got a couple of old fence posts here, which are 4x4s, and they're hardwood, and I'll be cutting these up for the legs. The table itself currently has a raw edge, which I want to cover up. So I've just got that offcut from the fascia that we ripped down, and I'll place that on the side and join it up just like that, and that should finish the edge of the table off quite nicely. And underneath the table it will simply be a rail which will be attached to the tabletop, and then the leg will just butt into that rail just like that. Very, very simple. Just how I like it. The first thing we need to do is cut the outside trim for the table and then nail it on. Now a little bit of glue on the trim. And just simply nail the trim on. Now I've just turned the tabletop over and I'm trying to work out the position of the leg and the rail to the outside edge of our tabletop. For the leg, on both faces, I'm thinking 20 millimeters, which is a touch over 3/4 of an inch. And from the face of the rail to the outside of the table, I'm looking at 40 millimeters, which is a touch over 1 3/4 inches. I think that should work out quite well. It's now time to start cutting the legs for the table. I'm cutting mine to a length of 735 millimeters, which is a touch under 29 inches. I've got my stop block set up so that all my legs will be cut to the same length. And once those legs are cut, the overall height of the table, which includes the top, which is 1 inch or 25 millimeters thick, it will be 760 millimeters, which is a smidge under 30 inches. Now before I attach the legs, I just want to give them a bit of a touch up with my planer. So I'm using my trusty magnet once again to locate those nails, because I don't want to destroy my brand new planer blades. Okay, the legs have now been prepped, and now it's time to mark the position of the rail to the leg. The leg's in the right position on the tabletop, and from memory we've gone 40 millimeters from the edge of the table to the face of the rail. Now I've already put a mark and squared it up on the post. You may or may not be able to see that. So put it back in place like that, and then line the rail up with your mark, and then just trace around it like that. That's beautiful. Go grab your chisel and let's house that out. So when it comes to housing out this rebate, you can either use the trusty old chisel and trust your judgment to get a nice straight line along those two pencil marks there, or what I like to do is grab a circular saw and run the blade up those two lines. I get a nice straight cut, and you also get some depth to the cut, which makes chiseling out a bit easier. It might be a bit scarier for some, but for me, that's my preference. Now hopefully with a bit of luck these should fit very, very nicely. Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. Love it. Now the last thing we need to do to this leg is to cut a 45 on this face, just slightly lower than the top of these rails. Now you might be able to see it a bit easier on this finished post, and you can see that flat section there. Now the reason for that is that I want to be able to put this cross brace in, just like that, screw it to those rails and to the post, which will hold everything together nice and snugly without having to use any glue, because I do want to be able to pull this big behemoth apart, so transportation is that little bit easier. Okay, I've got a handful of screws, 4 cross braces. Let's put this bad boy together. Before we start working on our leg, we need to attach the tabletop to the rail. And I've done that simply attaching these L brackets to both surfaces. Once the table is attached to our frame, the next thing to do is to set up the legs. And you want the legs to be sitting nice and square to the table. So all I do is get a builder square and clamp it to the leg and to the rail. On the other side, I check it with my combination square. And at the moment, this leg is sitting absolutely beautifully. And to finish the whole process off, go and grab your cross brace, this piece here, and just simply attach the cross brace to both rails with 2 screws on either end. And to attach the leg to the cross brace, just drive 2 75mm or 3-inch coach screws through that brace into the leg. Job's done. Too easy. Now just a quick tip, to make driving these long screws into that hardwood leg a bit easier, I like to get the screw and just lightly coat it in some grease. Ooh, grease. Grease is good. And finally, to help strengthen up the tabletop, I'm going to install a couple of braces, because if history is anything to go by, I can definitely see some dancing action on top of this old girl. It'll happen, trust me. Okay, the legs and braces are now in place, which means one thing, and that is the most exciting part of the whole job, and that is to finish the big beast off. So what we'll do is we'll pick it up, take it outside, give it a plane, a bit of a sand to get ready for varnish. I love this stage, and I apologise if the sound is a bit dodgy at the moment, but it is pouring rain outside. So once again, I apologise in advance. So what do you think? I absolutely love it, and I love the light colour, and because of that I don't want to play around with the top too much, because the more you take off, the darker that timber's going to get. Anyway, let's talk more action. And remember to either punch or denail those boards before you start planing, because you don't want to destroy those beautiful planer blades. So basically all I'm doing with the planer is taking off those high spots, which is generally where the boards meet. Once that's been done, it's time to pull out the sander. Now I'm just a little bit excited because I had to go out and buy a brand new tool. My old sander just packed it in when I was sanding down that table. So I went out and purchased myself a Bosch PEX 400 AE random orbit sander. I've had two cheaper sanders in the last 12 months and they've both packed it in. So I lashed out and purchased this model here. I've read some good things about it and hopefully, ooh, there she is, it'll do the job on my brand new table. I'll let you know how it goes. Oh, new tools. Love it. Looks good. Now the tabletop has a couple of big chunks taken out of it which really needs to be repaired, so I'm using a two-part epoxy, the epoxy being the R180 and the hardener being H180, and you mix these two together at a ratio of 5:1, and you really want to get those ratios spot on, because if you don't, the product won't harden correctly, which will make finishing off quite difficult. Give it a really good stir and you're done. Now all you have to do after you've taped up around the repair is to pour the epoxy in. Oh, looks good, doesn't it? It's 24 hours later and that epoxy has gone rock hard, and it also has a clear glass-like appearance which will dull off when we sand it. And you can see here, this rough section, as an experiment, I got a utility blade and tried to peel some of that off. And as you can see, it wasn't that successful. Anyway, epoxy's gone off. Let's get the sander out and finish this table off. And that's the sanding all done, and it feels absolutely amazing. And the Bosch, so far so good. I like it. And now to finish off the table with a couple of coats of hard wax oil. Let's do it. And this is the product that I'm using to coat the table. It's a hard wax oil and it's in clear matte. Now this stuff is usually used for coating timber floors, but I'm going to give it a go on my new table, see how it turns out. Cross our fingers, let's give it a crack. And away we go. And I'm just using a foam roller, that's what they recommend. Alright, first coat's been down for 24 hours. It's dry and ready to be sanded. And for that, I'm just using a 240 grit sandpaper and giving the whole job a very light touch-up. With the hard wax oil, they actually recommend that you use one of these Scotch-Brite scouring pads. The maroon colour's the best, but I could only find a blue one in my local hardware store. But the problem was that when I was using it, it was leaving behind too many fibres in the nail holes, splits and cracks. So as a result, out goes the Scotch-Brite, and I'll finish it off with the 240, then give it a second coat and come back with the finished product. Should be good. Okay, are you ready? I'll just cover your eyes for a second, and here it is. What a beauty. I absolutely love it. It's heavy, solid, looks great, and that hard wax oil that I used to finish the table off with, magnificent. And I think the secret was that after the second coat dried, I gave it a hit with a 320 grit paper. The finish is just so silky smooth and soft. I love it, and I only wish there was such a thing as feel-o-vision. That way you could reach through that screen and just touch it. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, first thing to do tomorrow morning, invent feeler vision. Done. Can't be too hard. So that's it, folks. I really hope you enjoyed that two-part series on how to build a table. And please don't go just yet, because coming up there'll be a series of photos going backwards and forwards of the finished product. And if you did enjoy that video series, big thumbs up is always greatly appreciated. And if this is your first time to my channel, please hit that subscribe button for more handy tips. After all that, I think I need a good strong cup of tea. So till next time, I'm out of here. Cheers. That's a good cuppa. See ya.